Colleen, we were just talking about you when as you showed up in the waiting room. As my mom would say, were your ears burning? You're muted. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I texted Tim and I was like, I'm working really late tonight, but I tried to like get home and then I texted him. I said, can I still get in? He goes, yeah, just pull a Tim, fashionably late. So here I am.
Actually, you're early, which we teach our church youth that early is actually on time. On time is late, and late is
Didn't it start at
unacceptable.
6?
No. Starts at 7.
Oh, awesome. So I'm super early.
Is there any way we can make it so that the members themselves can click on the 3 dots on the top and then change their name? Because if people use somebody else's computer to log in, they can do that. I know you have power to do that, but on other Zoom meetings, I've seen it where the user changes their name to themselves.
Yes, I just clicked a thing that says allow participants to rename themselves. So you guys should be able to do that.
Rename. So maybe we want to introduce during introductions, we might want to say that as if tell them if your screen doesn't say your name, click on the 3 dots. If you're on a computer, and when Greg logs in, I'm sure he might be able to tell us how to do it on a tablet. You can just put rename and put Tim Shakarian or whatever your name is.
I put Tim Shakarian on mine?
No, it's only one Tim Shakarian.
I was going to say, I'm going to put it on mine too. So all the Tims.
Johanna will tell you the world can only handle one Tim.
I know you well enough.
You know, I think
agree.
I would agree to that.
Who's Grace Kim or Kim Grace? It's someone wanting in, and I don't recognize the name. Oh, they're gone now.
See what happens.
Don't let him in.
I called everybody's call list, so I don't know who's going to show up. Earlier I had control of some that said yes for sure, and some that said maybe. I don't know. I put a lot of people on the spot. I spent the whole afternoon doing this. It was really cool. I had great conversations with a lot of shop owners. Good. And I hope this brings everybody together. This is really
I did get the text that gave me no option, so I appreciate that.
Voluntold, I've been told. Voluntold.
Colleen, while we're waiting, there's a guy out in the valley somewhere. I forgot exactly where, Thousand Oaks, I think. His name's Mike Miller. And his daughters are taking over his shop. He's a
that's awesome.
He's a state-only member right now, and he's not sure whether he wants to join the chapter at this point. He wants to get his daughters set up, but we thought, wow, we should have Colleen call his daughters and say, hey, you know, you can get set up best if you join ASCCA. So would you be able to do that?
I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to. Do you know how old they are by chance, Joseph?
I don't, but I will get that information for you. I'll talk with him, and I'll tell him that we've got a female shop owner that would love to help his daughters any way that she can.
Yeah, because for once in my life, using my age is actually working to my advantage.
How old are
you know, that's another thing to consider if they're young.
How
29.
Old are you? 29. Oh my goodness.
Ask a woman?
Yes.
My wife just said,
hey, you know what? I'm
her
still
age?
at the age where it's a good thing. Once I turn past 30, forget it. Never ask me.
Well, I have a birthday next month, and it's going to be a big one. I'm turning 70.
Wow, seriously? All these guys, man. I'm always the baby. At least, you know what? I was smart, and I did hire a younger technician, so I'm no longer the, the oldest person.
Hey, Matt. Welcome.
Hi.
Matt, welcome.
Tim promised me booze, so I'm here.
Okay, well, I'll leave it up to him to get it to you.
Oh,
here you go. Go get it.
Cover the logo. You don't want to get in trouble.
Desert warmer upper.
I just walked in the door. I had to
Thanks for joining us.
Got to do this. So, hello. Did you guys do the Brady Bunch thing where you like point down at that guy and say hi and
you just dated yourself really, really badly.
Do you know what the Brady Bunch is? But I can pull the millennial card. What is that?
When you go like this to people to roll their window down and they don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm sorry. A button doesn't
Like
do
that.
that. You can't just press the button. Oh, that's just horrible.
Well, that's like the one my grandson drives a stick shift, which is millennial proof.
Yeah, those don't get stolen anymore.
Okay, I am the millennial that cannot drive the stick shift. I will be
really?
the first to admit it.
Is
Okay,
that right?
I can do everything else, but I mean, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Like coordination is just not my jam.
Don't worry, Colleen. BMW is discontinuing manual transmissions in
Millennial
almost
proof.
most cars because of that. Is only the crazy people come in and actually ask to buy a manual transmission. And technology is too expensive to be able to use old dinosaur stuff. So
Hey,
going all
Volvo, you
electric-
have to special order them, so I get it.
Clutches are overrated, man. Nothing toys.
This is the chit chat time because the official start time is 7 o'clock, and I love it when people log on early to make sure that they're there.
I thought it was halfway through the meeting, so hey.
I don't know if Tim did that on purpose.
Oh, probably 100%, knowing Tim.
Wow, Tim, your floor is clean.
That's actually really dirty. I'll try to pull up a picture when we first got it done. I was showing the staff and they're like, oh my God, it's shiny. But yeah, that was a lot of work before they put the lifts in to grind all the floors, level them, $8,000 of epoxy later.
This is an original name. Hello, person who's labeled as monitor. We need you to change your name so you can. All right. Hey there, monitor.
Hey, my main computer is not happy, so I'm on my laptop. So
Wasn't the one you normally do Bulldog or something like that?
pardon?
Wasn't the one you used Bulldog or had some name like that?
Oh yeah, one of them had a bulldog or something. So we are crippled by our own technology.
Hey, Glenn.
Hi, guys. How are you?
I
Doing well. Just saying, this is the chit chat time. If anybody has anything they want to say to add value to the meeting before it starts.
Hey, Joseph, Tim was saying that you wanted to do a poll.
Tim wants to do a survey or a poll, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so on that email that was sent out, am I off mute? Yeah, on the email that was sent out, there was a couple of questions on it. Let me get to that point.
You mean the one that says ASCCA features that hold value to you, benefits that you utilize? How to
Yeah, I
retain
don't want to lose
existing-
my screen by losing that. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I tweaked the questions just a little bit and made them a little more personal.
So, Greg, I guess the questions are ASCCA features that hold value to you. And what I was thinking was, as we get feedbacks from what the members are saying, we can kind of fill in the slot of 1, 2, and 3 and say, hey, which one is most popular? And that way you can kind of have an idea of where you're going to go with the next one. And it's just a quick little recap of what people were saying. Like Joseph said, you're not taking the minutes, but we kind of want to see what the pool of ideas are and say, hey, is this what you guys are saying, so that we can take that as content to the next one. Just an idea. We don't have to do it. If it's simple, I think it would cause engagement from the audience. That's really what my goal is.
I think we would also need to distinguish or differentiate between features and benefits so that they'll know, examples of what we're talking about. The features are not necessarily, you find those in the ASCCA Advantage, but it's the things that hold value to you in the association.
Did you guys know that I coined that phrase?
Which phrase?
ASCCA Advantage.
I think that you pretty much are the author of most of the stuff that goes on now, right?
Yeah. I'll have to tell you guys the story of the whiteboard and how it's relevant to today.
You know what I enjoy?
Tell us now quickly before the meeting starts.
Hang on, let me get a glass of water.
So, so the poll,
So
that would take a little bit of preparation, though, Tim. I did it twice, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head how to do it.
Let's give it a shot, see what happens. If we got one, that's good enough. I mean, let me know. Trial and error.
Okay, so tell us about the whiteboard, Glenn.
okay, so back in the way back in the early 2000s, our executive director and all of our office staff gave us two weeks notice and quit ASCCA. And I was treasurer at the time. And unfortunately, I was the only one who knew how to run computers and do those kinds of things and manage things. So I took over effectively, I became the acting executive director for 7 months. I paid bills, I made payroll, I produced meetings and elections and all kinds of stuff. But one day during that time, we were looking for a new management approach, and I thought we needed to start from scratch. And so I went into the conference room of our old offices that we owned, and I took all of the at the time since 1940, all of the things off the wall, all the mementos, all of the newscasts, everything. And I went down to the office because I was up there doing some banking for the association, and I asked the executive committee to come up, and I took everything off the walls in the conference room, and I put a giant whiteboard up there. And when they all showed up for the meeting, I said, "This is the future of ASCCA. This is what we need to do right now. We have no management staff. We have no direction moving forward." We had Walt Cummins and a whole bunch of other people saying that ASCCA was dead and it was dying and they needed to go to this association or that association and all that kind of stuff. And out of that meeting, we forged a path looking at different management styles moving forward. And we decided on going with the association management company model, which is Gloria and AMC. And I've believed for at least the last 5 or 6, 7 years now, after we forged that path, after we started creating a vision and we gave our chapters and our committee members a path forward, did we get to the point we are today. But for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been commenting to the state board of directors and others who wanted to listen, that we were in dire straits. We have 3 things going on at this point. We have, if you look at the last 5 or 6 years, we've had mass membership drops. The only year that was somewhat almost feasible, we gained 35 CAT members, which are non-dues paying members. So that number was skewed. The state board of directors have been thumping their chest about how much money they got in the bank, but that's
you
only
got 3 minutes left now.
Okay, that's only because the stock market is doing so well. But the last financial report is a train wreck. I'd be happy to be going into that because I read it. But you know, I gave those guys the path. I think it's time for a blank whiteboard for the next 10 years for this association, both on a chapter level and a state level, if anybody wants to listen. But it takes people to look in the mirror and really understand that, you know, what we've been doing for the last 70 years, even though it's great, things have changed, and things have changed dramatically since COVID. And so everybody has to have an open mind and really look at the environment we're in if we're going to grow.
Well, Glenn, that sets the stage. That's exactly why we're meeting tonight, because we in a sense, are starting with a blank whiteboard in that we've asked some questions and, the answers are blank right now. So hopefully we'll be able to fill some of those in tonight. And we'll get a pathway, at least for the chapter. And hopefully it's something that it works for us. So it's something we can share with other chapters and the state as well.
Joseph, I'd like to add one thing from a newcomer's point of view to the association, and Colleen and Johanna may agree with me. Glenn, a lot of the stuff that I see in the association, I hear, oh, you coined that or you had a participation in that. I think that's really cool because sometimes looking at something that you already know works from a different vantage point makes it work better. And that's what all of us techs do. So I appreciate the contribution, and I like to take a young person's or a newcomer's approach to it and then spin it back and say, hey, why doesn't this work?
Well, over the years, I found that a team approach, because I have 2 restaurants too. Up until COVID, I had 72 employees that worked in our restaurants, and we were quite successful, and we're still open, which means, we're doing something right. But I always felt that it was the collective group. Now, if you follow just one person's path, nobody buys into it. But if you take pieces out of the entire group, okay, I was at the meeting where we created our motto, where we created our BHAG, where we created our mission statements. Okay, we had nothing planned at that day. We took conference paper and started jotting down ideas on the walls. By the end of the day, we had about 30 different sheets of giant paper that described all of the thoughts and ideas that everybody in the room, and there was probably 75 people in that room that day in Fresno. But I believe that everybody has something to contribute. And if you create the path based on everybody's input, then everybody's got skin in the game, everybody moves forward, and things grow. It is a total team effort if you understand the concept, which means that you have to understand the concept of conflict, and people with strong ideas have strong ideas, and they're going to, sparks are going to fly and smoke is going to happen. But that's a good thing for a group.
Okay, thank you. And yes, that's what we're counting on, the fact that the people that log on tonight are the ones that are wanting to buy in. And just the fact that they're taking time out of their evening to join, a normally unscheduled meeting, that says to me that there's interest and there's desire to see this chapter grow. So, we're at our starting point now. We've got, 15 people here. That's great. Welcome, everybody. This is not our regular meeting. Kirk's not leading it. I can moderate it. I control, and Greg controls the mute button. So we want to keep the conversation going. Like Glenn was just saying, we want to hear from people. The purpose of this meeting is so we can hear what's important to you. And Tim, I think I'll turn it over to you so that you can just kind of set the stage right now and get the ball rolling. How's that?
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming. And they say great minds think alike. So let's take some of our great ideas and kind of build it into what we want. I think introductions is probably in order. I'd like to thank Joseph Appler for being the administrator of our chapter, really following through and being an excellent accountability partner for the board of directors and to the chapter. So great gratitude to you for that. To my screen's right, my name is Tim Shakarian. I'm the co-owner of Beamer PhD Motorsports in Pasadena. I've been a member for about 5 years. Been on the board of directors for about 3 years, or the chapter board. And I have the privilege of serving as your chapter rep since the great Jack Scrayfield has retired. I really enjoy what I do. I love my business. I love working with my family, my wife and my team, and I really enjoy being part of the association. What I've learned is the more I've gotten involved, when I joined the board, and Gene first asked me when we looked at all those numbers, he said, "You don't know what you're looking at, do you?" And I was like, help, but I'm going to learn. And that kind of pushing and that kind of encouragement has helped me to be a better business owner, a better member, and hopefully a good board leader. We look to find a lot more people that want to join the board of directors and help us out with this. So thank you. That's me. To my right, I have Gene. So Gene, do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I think pretty much, everybody knows everybody. So in the interest of time, why don't we just dive right in and get going? I've been a member for, since 1984, and like Glenn, seen a lot come and go, and membership has always been one of the most challenging portions, although Chapter 5 is the leader and has always been the biggest, baddest, meanest chapter in the state. Years ago, I remember we had a Valentine's party, and we had 214 people show up to the Valentine's party, and we just had hundreds of members all the time, and now we're down below 100. And so I think what we need to do as a group is agree that we need more members. How many is, it'd be nice to put 30 members up as the big, hairy, audacious goal to get to. So how are we going to do? How are we going to get 30 members? And most of you, I hope, had received the outline I put out there. And I filled in the features, benefits, how would I want to retain? And I'm hoping all of you kind of looked at it and put your ideas down so we could have a sharing opportunity, whether it's through, you emailing it to Joseph and Joseph disseminating it out. And then at a time later that we can, put it all together, come up with a plan. Tonight, I don't expect us to come up with a plan. What tonight is an inspiration, like Glenn said. This is the whiteboard. This is everybody, listening to each other, throwing 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 ideas out there so we can write them down, so we can put them together, figure out, what we're going to do. Because my biggest downfall is I always seem to take the lead, write it all down, put it all together, put it out there, and nobody does anything with it, and it pisses me off. So, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to step back and let, the members say, hey, here's what we want. And I don't know if any of you have done that, or if you had a chance to look at the kind of the outline that we sent out, earlier, and if you have any ideas. So what I'd like to do is, does anybody, have any ideas, for the features, benefits, existing members, wild ass ideas? I mean, I know I have mine and I know what I want to do, but before I present any of that, me and Tim have been going back and forth. So Tim and Joseph are the only two I think that know what direction I want to go in. So I'd like to hear from all of you in a couple of minutes, so we don't, aren't here a lot. I appreciate everybody getting on this. I know it's an extra meeting, but we're trying to do this sometimes during a board meeting, and it just, nothing's ever got done. And so I want to at least try and accomplish something tonight. So with that, can we move forward and somebody throw out an idea or two?
If I could just jump in and say, let's, just for the sake of being able to write things down, let's start with the first one. And if, don't speak over each other, but, one at a time. But what are some ASCCA features that hold value to you?
And if you want, type it in the chat. If you don't want to talk, just type it in the chat and we can, get it that way as well.
Hey, this is Thomas, Ground City Tire. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Benefits or the features for me as when I want to join was really to get to know the other shop owners and create that community. That is probably the biggest reason that I joined, and I think that most people do join, is for that. And then just kind of throw out there, Gene, like you said you had around 200 to 300 members, and now we're down under 100. I'm just curious to your gut feeling to what, and again, I'm not gonna go off subject, but maybe it's a good thing to look at. Why did it drop down? Is there a change in the industry that, I only knew in this industry. There's something kind of changed that we haven't changed, or why is that? That's a big drop on a number. I don't know if it's retirement based or whatever it may be caused, but I'd be curious for the answer and your gut feeling on that.
My feeling is exactly right. As majority of them are older, they've either timed out or they've retired and moved on, sold their business, and we just don't have the young folks that have interest in belonging. And you're kind of an anomaly, Thomas, because you want that. I want to know people around me. I want to know people in the industry, where the majority of the folks out there that own repair shops are mine. They don't want to share. They don't want to tell people what they do because they're afraid they lose business. And we've got to break that. I don't know if I sent out that Carm Capriato of Esteban. You know, what a remarkable interview Esteban did. I mean, that he is my avatar. You know, if you build an avatar or somebody to go after as far as a member, a young guy, family, oriented, I'm really surprised, never in the business, and look at him go. He recognizes the value of a coach and knowledge and sharing and praising his team. I mean, he's a visionary, and a lot like Tim. Tim is the same way. And how do we pick those guys out? Thomas, you're another guy, young guy, totally into his business, wants to learn, wants to grow. Where do we find these folks? That's what I put in: build an avatar, build our perfect customer, build our perfect member, and then find them, go after them, email them. Like Esteban said, that one guy came by every month for 5 years until he finally joined. I was the same way, young in business. I had, one of the old members was retired, came by my shop every single month, sat down in a chair and wouldn't leave till I talked to him about ASCCA, and finally we joined. So how do we do that in today's world? And my response would be emails, texts, phone calls. Instead of doing the in-person visit, we contact, touch, drive them crazy till they finally show up, and then wow the crap out of them. But we got to find them first. But that, that's our problem, is we don't go after members. The old days, everybody joined because it was the thing to do. And we had pre-meetings, and it was like an hour before the meeting where the old guys would sit in the bar and all the young guys would sit around and listen to their BS. And that's how we learned when we were young guys. And, that doesn't happen at our meetings now. So
What else?
That helps out. Their answer.
What else do you have, Thomas?
Again, biggest benefit is collaboration with other members, but the train content, I would say towards obviously the ownership side, training from numbers to how you should be as an owner. That was very valuable for me. And again, I'm just rushing this too. So those are my two top ones for you, Tim.
All right.
I got a question. How about Greg? Because Greg, you're one of the newest members that we've had. Do you have the ability to give feedback, or are you just listening in? Greg Juan from House Automotive, the Porsche shop, about 2 driveways down from me.
I'm listening in, but I missed the first couple minutes of it, so I don't know exact topic. Can you tell me that one more time? Just repeat that for me.
What features holds value to you? What drew you to ASCCA?
So what made me join ASCCA is you, Thomas, and Pastor Joseph that got me to join. But what value is there? I mean, I understand, like ASCCA is very traditional way to do like a club or do business, I guess you want to call that. But the issue, it took me so long to join is because all the resources, ASCCA, most of them, it's a paid service that a lot of people can go out and just get it. I don't see the unique side of it. I mean, no offense, please, I'm just being upfront. But I am here and I want to know what's the difference. But thinking about this, I mean, just on the business side of it, there's money gets raised every year. Maybe you guys can find a way maybe we can find a way to distribute that back, such as Jing mentioned, maybe do a happy hour for the guys and let them understand what ASCCA is and then kind of pitch it instead of a bunch of quote unquote old guys are just, chatting about their grandchildren or something about how they do business. But what made me join in is truly it's because you guys and I want to learn more and I want more and I can provide my services or share my resources. Yeah, I mean, I like to be part of that as well too. But as far as the actual club or actual association, I haven't got a chance to fully dig in to find value yet. But I am seeking. I am looking still.
Great, thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you, guys.
So right before COVID hit, Jim Ward and I were putting together one day a month that we were going to do meet at a different restaurant or bar and invite everybody and move them around, from Monrovia to Pasadena. Is that something that would have interest if we, wacky Wednesdays and, from 6 to 9 and just show up if you want to and have a drink or have dinner and talk? Is that something that would build value for our chapter or membership?
I think so. I mean, in my opinion, I definitely think it will. And maybe the group, maybe we should start looking into I mean, I'm very data driven. So maybe we should look into whatever social media people are doing, such as Nike or such as Microsoft or Apple. How are they drawing their audience? So however they draw in their audience, maybe we should find our own in that sense and the twist and make it interesting for members or shop owners to get involved, to maybe even raise money or whatever that needs to be done. But Jing, your idea to jump around for different restaurants, just invite people. Yeah, I think that's a great start. And then we can kind of go from there. Yeah, I mean, pretty much let's find the proper audience. But at the same time, we should have a game plan also, because when we get them, I mean, when we get people out there, we should be able to execute properly to the point that say, wow, I mean, why I haven't come to this? And then at that point, when we get them in the membership and everything else, I mean, maybe we need Norman, the CPA, and maybe the lawyer be there as well too, as something just there to let them know, hey, we got the legal support on the accounting side and the legal side, and kind of just get people involved. I mean, we need to create the wow factor. I think that's what we need to do maybe, and then kind of go from there. Just a suggestion. Okay, I'll be quiet. I'll go back to over here.
Javier chimed in with what he finds important is connecting with other professionals and trusted corporate partners in savings, moral support, and monthly refreshers. So with corporate partners, I think that's really important because some of the other BMI groups and organizations, if you belong to those, they really focus on networking. So in our association, I'd be curious to find out how many shops are using Norm for advice or accounting or business information. How many shops are using Shannon Devery with digital financial? That's two things that come to mind. How many people have called Jack Molodonoff, the ASCCA attorney? I mean, that's Cintas. I saved 50%. So these are the. Do you want to put these on features or benefits, Joseph?
Well, these are benefits for sure. I mean, I know there's kind of an overlap between features and benefits, but
yeah.
Those are listed as benefits. Norm, what about that? Have any of our chapter members reached out to you, availed themselves of that 30 minutes that you offer?
Not one has ever called me for the 30-minute consultation. I mean, I get some as clients, but nobody has called to say, hey, can I review something? Can I look at the taxes? It's amazing how many businesses don't even have monthly financials. They just, and not only this industry, it's in others. And Gene, you made a remark earlier, you know, it's easy enough to find the number of shops out there, but to convince them to do something is the biggest problem. You have to, the benefits should be quantified. If you could try and get people to commit to how many dollars they want to increase their take-home pay each month or annually, that would be a place to start. Some people just don't listen. They're very difficult to motivate. Today, I had a discussion with one of my clients. There are 3 of them in a partnership, and they own real estate. They have corporations that run businesses. The net equity here is about 30 million. They don't have buy-sell. There are 3 of them in it. They don't have buy-sell agreements. They don't have partnership agreements. If one of them becomes disabled or passes on, how's the widow going to be paid out? There's nothing. And I'm tired of talking to them about that. So I just put it in my engagement letter and I say, take care of the following and get an attorney, which is what they need. They won't do it. 2 of them agree and 1 doesn't agree to get, and the dollars are significant. And the potential for lawsuits is, as soon as something unforeseen happens, it's going to be, the lawyers are going to do well. Just some people don't want to move off and get things going properly. Some people run businesses, they might be in the hole every month, but they don't know. And they don't care to get their financials in shape. So I guess if getting back to the benefits is describing among your group how much the profits increased in dollars every year from the day they started becoming a member to where they're at, where they work, where they are now. That's a benefit, but I agree with Gene and Tim, you've got to keep hammering home the message by email. It's probably the easiest way. And find out, does anyone ever get any answers from non-members as to why they will not become members?
Yeah, most of the thing I think boils down to dollars.
I think I can answer that.
Go ahead, Chloe.
I really think that it's not even dollars. I mean, you know, I'm only 29, not afraid to share my age. But when I started in this industry, I was 19. And at that time, you know, no offense to anybody, but it was a lot of older guys that got together and talked about the same dang thing every single time over some drinks and some decent food. It didn't take until I actually started with Mark to really see the benefit, because Mark really loved the ASCCA and really stood by them and what they stood for. And it even still then took me a year to understand the benefit of it. I mean, a lot of these people, some of you guys I don't know, but a lot of these people on this call, I know on a personal basis. And it's really, you know, if you want to target the millennial generation like me, it's being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that to me is big with the ASCCA. A lot of people don't tell you about the benefits. You know, there was Javier said, I didn't know that Norm offered 30 minutes. Well, how many times has Norm been on here and said, hey, I offered 30 minutes, whatever you guys want, no problem. You know, that's actually the reason why I told Mark, let's go with Norm, at least to have a conversation. You know, ASCCA opens a lot of doors, and it takes a lot of us promoting that to anyone else that will listen to get that across. And again, it's a hard sell. ASCCA, okay, so in black and white, you spend X amount of dollars to sit on a Zoom meeting with you guys, which I do love, to talk about what. And if you don't know what the what is, and you don't know how much that's going to benefit you, how is that going to get across to anyone? So it really takes us as members to be the sales point, to really drive home the benefit. And it took me a long time to understand the benefit, but now I can't picture myself without you guys.
Yeah. Some people, there was one shop in Pasadena that needed to increase revenue, and I went to see him with a guy who does websites, and we said, what's a typical month of sales for you? And he gave us a figure that he's doing at the moment, and I said, if we redid the website and gave you coaching and we increased the revenue above the number that you feel you can attain, would you pay us 25% commission and we'll charge you nothing up front? So, I mean, what did he have to lose? And he wouldn't go for it. I mean, some people just don't want to do it. It's
back in the day when the ASCCA was IGO. I've talked about this before. So the way they got the way most people joined it was through the insurance. If you went through ASCCA, they got a bunch of people together and they were able to get lower rates. And that was the big selling point. As you go on ASCCA or IGO, we got an organization together, you got lower rates. And if you went with them, that paid your dues for the year. You saved enough to where your dues was paid. Then out of the 4,000 people, 1,000 people got involved with the networking. They got involved with everything going on, and they built the organization to what it is now. The other people over time found out that they no longer could save a lot with workman's comp, and they don't want to be involved because they never got involved. We did a research a while ago, and we were seeing how many people actually used the benefits that were offered, how many of them saved money. Gene, Tim, they've been pushing over and over what you're going to save. You're saying there's no benefit. Are you using these things? Half the people aren't using the benefits. Some of the benefits we even asked the state about that they offered, that the state couldn't even produce what they were and how we were saving with them. This is things we've talked about, but the people who really want to learn, people that want to get ahead and build their shops, they've stayed with the organization, built it, and they've done great. They're the people, I mean, anybody who doesn't listen to Gene is an idiot.
I got a question. Mats, can I ask you a question? I know you've been involved and you've used two of the resources recently of the association. Can you tell us about your experience?
Well, I called you to, so that's my big value is I've called Darren a few times on stuff. I used to talk to Colleen's Mark quite a bit, but this was going way back. And then I guess earlier, I was a member of the San Fernando Valley chapter, and that was chapter 11, I think. And then they kind of closed up, and then Joseph came over, kind of scared the crap out of me into joining your guys' club. But,
whatever it takes.
Yeah, strong arming, it's a big dude. So then I would go to the Pasadena meetings and stuff here and there, but I met a couple of guys, and I think that was the biggest value to me, is just meeting the other guys doing the same thing and having a backboard to bounce ideas off of, or ask, like, hey, I'm in a jam, what would you do? That kind of thing. And so that's been the big helpful thing to me. But what Tim's talking about is I still run my shop the way my previous my boss ran it. It was really on a handshake kind of thing, and he had the iron fist type of management approach, which I think with today's culture, that wouldn't fly very well. Mark was kind of the same way. He was pretty volatile, pretty spicy. You know, had
It
walked
beat me
around with a
into
little warning
ownership,
label on
Max.
its sleeve
It
kind of
beat me
thing.
into ownership.
Yeah, so it's a different climate now, and I wanted to get a handbook for my employees to kind of so everybody knows what page we're on and stuff like that. So I talked with David Miller, but like what Tim does to me now and then is gets a cattle prod out and kind of wakes me up and holds me accountable for like, hey, did you talk to this guy and actually go through with it? But I'm kind of ADD, so I'll see a squirrel and something will change and I'll go off doing something else. So it's finishing things. There's just too much day-to-day stuff. So I'll have like the idea gets pushed back a lot of times, and other things, jump in front, and then next thing you know, it's on the back burner, and you don't even know if the burner's on anymore, kind of thing. So, you just get busy with other stuff. But the big value to me is just having other people to say like, hey, do you have a tool for this, or have you, what kind of supplier are you using to get a particular hose, or what, anything like that. If you have a buddy somewhere in the list, it's a lot easier than, treading water by yourself. So that was a big selling point for me, was just having a community to reach out to. That's pretty much it, really.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment, or a couple of comments?
Yes.
I agree with Colleen 100%. If a meeting is going to be advertised and it has an appealing agenda and a worthwhile speaker, people could come up. I know I belong to a network group of CPAs, attorneys, bankers, and lenders. And the Encino meeting was advertised, and I contacted the moderator and I said, who's speaking? He said he doesn't have a speaker lined up. I said, I'm not going to be part of your Zoom meeting. I said, even if you offered a recipe for chili, it might be something people could be interested in. But Colleen is correct. Agenda and a speaker would definitely help. Matt's mentioned networking with people in the industry. Like even in my profession, I'd say 10% of my revenue comes from other CPAs. So between you, I'm sure there are situations that you can't handle everything. You're going to refer it out. It could be transmission work or a specialty automobile type of work that's required. You could refer work among yourselves, which I'm sure you do. And the big thing is to teach people, and Jean has mentioned this so often, the difference between having a business and running it as if you have a job versus running it as a business. That's a big differentiator, and running it as a business has definite advantages financially, for your family, financially, as well as having time off. I mean, Jean, how many months of vacation do you have a year?
12.
A lot.
Yeah, and you look at other guys who work 12 hours a day and they're not making that much.
John, can I poke you in? John Rodriguez from Mitchell. Thanks for joining us. I know you're in the field and you're going shop to shop. You came in my shop, and thank you for doing that, because one of my biggest complaints with Mitchell was they sell me something and they're gone. So thanks for caring. I want to ask you, because Gene, you were talking about somebody that's hitting the shops. How can we be effectively reaching out to more members? Tell me your experience, John.
Well, we met obviously, and what was supposed to be a 5-minute meeting at 5 o'clock, I didn't leave till like 8 o'clock. And I literally left your shop like, I want to open a shop. I want to start 5 business. I was just like pumped, called my wife, I'm pumped. And then you said to join the meeting. So I joined on your last meeting, and I really, seriously, if I'm 20 years younger, I would be opening a shop right now just from the meeting you guys had last week. I thought it was super cool. And then I sat back and went, why is this so cool? And I've literally been talking about it almost every day. My problem is I don't know the features and benefits. So like today I met with a customer that's buying a shop, they're closing in March. And I was like, have you thought about ASCCA? And he said, why? And I went, I don't know yet. But you need to join with me because I'm just super excited about it. This is a cool group. And I was kind of thinking about when Joseph invited me to this, what it would take to get more people. Obviously, associate members who are like me or other people that are going into a lot of shops already, because I don't know how you guys as shop owners are expected to recruit other people because when you're running your shop. So that is just inherently against you guys already. And then when I was going out to these other shops, I was thinking, well, what is in it for them? And the meeting was super cool, but I looked at across and I looked up everybody afterwards and who's who, and you guys literally are elite. And if I was a guy that's working 12 hours a day and doesn't get to see his kids and he's changing timing belts and he's also cleaning toilets, he's not going to come in here because he's scared, because you guys are doing it right. It's almost like coming into church when they're on the third book of, and you never even heard the first two. You're like, oh no, I can't do that. I think your meetings have to have an agenda, and I think you guys have to remember who you are and who they are and who you're trying to recruit. You guys seriously are the elite. I see one of you a week out of 5 to 10 shops a day. The other 90% of the people aren't doing things right like you are doing. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but remember that when you're having meetings, that you need to entice. What's in it for me is what everybody's thinking. And if they come in just even to that meeting last time, and you guys were already talking about doing manuals and procedures and tax people, and this guy's, 90% of the people out there are literally just putting money in the bank and hoping they have money at the end of the month.
So can I do a quick thing, because I want to leave here with some data, and we're getting stories right now. So I'm gonna take over for 10 minutes, and everybody knows how to work the chat, right? So write in the chat one feature, why you're here, why you belong to ASC. If you don't have one, that's okay. Later, send it to Joseph. But we need to collect data. If I don't have data, our chapter can't, put it all together and see what we're doing. So, one of my features is we help our industry unite and inform us about manufacturers, the direction and the challenges. So that's a feature that I like. We have an industry that helps us come together. And then the next is send one benefit. There's so many benefits, and I'll bet you probably can't hardly think of one.
What's the benefit that you use, James?
Well, I mean, the biggest one is $350 back from Shannon for using the credit card program. So that pays for my chapter dues right there, darn near. 30 minutes of legal, 30 minutes of accounting, free HR. Malin has, 30 minutes with him. So, I mean, these are all the things that, whatever, and maybe there's other things I don't think about.
One of the big things, Gene, is all the new laws that change. You're always informing us of the new change.
Kirk, I'm talking. You got to write it down.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So give me my 10 minutes, and you guys can talk all you want. And how to retain an existing member. If you're an existing member, what would keep you in our association? The networking, the fellowship, the community, I know is all, things we've talked about, and that's probably the strongest bond that we have. The friendship, the fellowship, all that is incredible. But what is something else that would keep you engaged as being a member? I like calling people. I like hearing from people. Gary and I talk at least once a month or more. So we, I keep in touch with many folks, and it just keeps your mind fresh. And then the next one is how to attract new members. Give me some, we're kind of lost on this, so we need some ideas. How do we, I want to build an avatar, which, go after, all the shops in the BAR, ARD list. I don't know, we're trying to come up with a solid idea so we can move forward. And, if we email or contact 100 people, we'll probably get 5 or 3 out of that. So we need a lot of folks to, like the old days, the old guys would come into our shops and visit. How do we touch these people over and over and over again till we drive them crazy and they show up to our meeting or check us out?
Well, Gene, the
one more, Glenn, one more, then you can go. And then the last one is your wild ass ideas, your WAIs. So anything that is out there crazy, send that in the chat or to Joseph, and then I'll have some information of me and Tim and Joseph, and any of you that want to be on our email string, please let Joseph know, because we're going to try and put together a membership plan with the information from this meeting. That's the whole idea of this. So anything you give us is like huge right now, because we've been struggling with this for almost a year now, right, Tim? And so we want to put together a plan. We want to have good data from our, engaged members, which all of you are. And if you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you. Just send an email to Joseph and say, I want to be in the email string. Okay, so thank you very much. Now you guys can give me ideas or talk. So
Yeah, I see that some of you are putting some things in the chat. That's good. Keep it up. Yeah, Tom.
I've got a comment.
Wait, Glenn had a comment first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I believe our association, our industry has fundamentally changed over the years. The model that we've been using since 1940 is old and obsolete. I've said for decades now that ASCCA is not an association of elite shops. I believe ASCCA is an association that builds elite shops. And, I talked to you guys before the meeting about the ASCCA Advantage. When I was the endorsements committee chair and I was looking for the what that Colleen was talking about, I coined that phrase, and I went back to the first time I came to an ASCCA meeting in Pasadena, and I believe the same guy that signed me up was the same guy that signed up Gene, who was Paul Reed. And when I showed up at that very first meeting at 22 years old, I sat down at a table that had Ron Durness and Chet Stillbauer and Lloyd Moore and Dick Cash and some incredibly successful shop owners for the first time. And they invited me in, and they started talking about their plans, their retirements, their successes and all those things. And I just thought, geez, I want to do that. I want to be those guys. And for me, that was my first experience with what I created as the ASCCA Advantage. And what I would say is every single person on this call tonight has a different definition of what the ASCCA Advantage is. There's a full document. The ASCCA Advantage has 2 pages to it. And I would be willing to bet that every single person here joined for one of those reasons. And so what we need to do is find that one owner, one two shop, 3-member shop, and find out what kind of advantage do they need from ASCCA to make them join, because the hook is different, I would say, for everyone. And so we really need to identify that, because those people are not represented on this call tonight. We need to find out how to get them involved.
Can you send us like that list and your thoughts and what you're talking about in writing, because I don't remember when people talk. I do better when I have it, in writing. And that's a great idea. Is here's the 24 ASCCA advantage list. Which one of these floats your boat, and that's why you join. So that's a great idea.
I will try it. I'm not wired that way, Gene. I know you and me are like polar opposites, but we both end up in the same spot
What
at
you
any
just
given
said,
time.
After the next beer, we'll be gone. So
there you go.
I won't remember that. So.
I am recording this.
That's
Okay.
what I was going to say. Joseph, if you can kind of jot down the ideas, and this is where we can use technology for the things that we record, texting.
Yeah, thank you for sending stuff in the chat. That's super helpful. And again, if you keep thinking of things and you have Joseph's email, just send them, because I'm super committed, along with Tim and many other folks, to get 30 members if we can.
Guys, well, I have to say something. I like to always think out of the box. And what I've noticed here in our group right now, all of us basically have an idea of the benefits. And I always tell salespeople when they come to my business, if I'm not looking for you, don't come to my business, because I'm smart enough guy to find ways to make money. So if I'm looking for a company, I'll find them and I'll go after them and I'll become a member. So we need to create a situation here with this organization to make it so that people come looking for us instead of us going looking for them. So one of the things I noticed a couple of times, my wife being an attorney at the Pasadena Bar Association, when she was the head of the Bar Association, I went there a few times, and I noticed that there were real estate agents there, and there were financial advisors there. And I thought, gee, what are these guys doing here? And then I realized every attorney has a client that's either buying or selling a house. So they're there to benefit from it. And same with the financial advisor. All these people get divorced and sell properties. Now they need to put the money somewhere. They need a financial advisor. He's there to benefit too. Why doesn't our organization have people like real estate agents become a member, so that these outside people, everybody wants to make money. So if they don't see the benefit in the automotive, maybe they can come there and talk to an agent to be able to find a property for their business, or maybe to buy a house or sell a house. So we can have other members to bring in the revenue, so we become a larger organization and more powerful. And to be honest with you, every real estate agent I talk to that's struggling in the real estate business, this was before the interest coming down, I would ask them how they advertise. And they would tell me things every real estate agent had done. And I said, why don't you sign up in the Pasadena Bar Association? I said, well, wait a minute, that's for attorneys. I said, no, you can go there. And then guess what? There's another Italian Bar Association. There's Armenian Bar Association. So many benefits agent has. So if we bring in real estate agents, attorneys, because every person in our associations either gonna have to have a legal, not legal automotive stuff, whether they're getting divorced or they're doing something with their family trust, because Jack can't help them with that. So why don't these attorneys, real estate agents, financial advisors become part of our association? I'm ready to bring people in if you guys are okay with that. And this way, for us, what matters is the money that's coming in.
Hey Gary, you're on the membership committee, and we'll definitely talk about that. It's a super intriguing idea.
So,
told.
Outside shop owners, if they think that they don't see value in this association to help in their automotive industry, maybe they're looking buy something and they come to meet the agents. And if one of us buys something from these agents and people see that we're making money because they're advising us properly, then we're going to have a flock of people coming in just for that. And Tim, I have a question for you. You were on the thing of signing up in ASCCA and not signing up years ago. What got you to do the final thing and say, I want to become part of this group? What was that thing that made you decide? Because in my case, I looked for the association and I went. But in your case, people came after you. In the beginning, you didn't want to sign up. Later, did you decide, or what made you decide to sign up?
Honestly, in short, it was Joseph's persistency and my wife's have an open mind approach, because I looked at it as, you guys need me for another vote so that you can get your key passed, but I have a way around. I can call my dealer boys and get my problem solved. And then I realized that's a selfish way to look at shit. If I contribute to the pot.
In this case, I think it was your wife, not Joseph, because
No,
I know
I
Joseph
disagree.
is gone. So the key thing is here, why people are coming. Again, I looked for you guys. I knew about the organization years ago. So whoever came knew, I don't know why they came and how did they find, so that we can take that and capitalize from that. Because I've been to a lot of shops and I brought members in or people in, they never seem to want to become a member. They'll come, I'll bring them, they'll talk to me, and every time I see them, they tell me they're going to become a member, but they never become a member. I personally think there's another reason for that, which is I'm at fault at that, and maybe some of you guys do the same thing. Not members call for advice or ideas. We sit there and help them. If I can get them, if I can get to say to them, hey, you know what, you're not a member, I'm sorry, I can't help you, maybe that'll drive them to become a member.
Well, that brings me to my last point that I in the chat or wherever. We would like to build a, I don't know what you would call it, a 3-group, a preferred group, and maybe have an advanced team of, shop owners that are knowledgeable at, whether it's Norm with numbers or somebody with SOPs, or even, John with Mitchell, he could be an advisor, and we could have these, join the group, and we have these advisors that you can talk to when you have a problem, and here's the list and here's their expertise, and you have somebody to talk with. Tim's the BMW guy, Kirk's the catalytic converter exhaust guy, Gary will have to figure out what he is, and sorry Gary, but I mean, if we have Greg is your college guy, if you have questions on college or training, we could really build and Colleen's the young chick of the group that's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to, and sometimes females like talking to females. So, that's a powerful thing. And so I think if we have that advanced network team or whatever we're going to call it, that could be our driving benefit to get people to join, to have access to an elite team of people that is basically no cost other than paying your dues.
Well, Gene, that piggybacks right on the idea I discussed last week about having, having an advisory group on our Zoom meetings or something, and including it as part of the chapter dues structure. Whether it's a business call or a technical call, or any of those other kinds of things. I think the chapter could reach out to a whole bunch of different genres within the group to give members an added hand up on a whole bunch of different information if we could make it available to the shop owners that needed it, whether it's 2, 3, 5, or 10.
Speaking of hands up, Greg has his hand up.
I'm just curious. I mean, a lot of these stuff comes down to psychology, right? So do we have a psychologist in our group by any chance? Because we're talking about engagement.
Colleen.
We're talking about, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, think about it, right? Like everybody talk about, Norman, for example, why haven't people used the 30 minutes? Why hasn't people used the lawyer 30 minutes? There's got to be a reason for that. So psychology, I think that a psychologist, I believe, can answer a lot of that question. So it comes down to human behavior, and same thing. Why does Tim take so long to join? Why does it take so long for me to join? There's a reason for that, and we can be data-driven about it, and a psychologist can probably answer most of that and probably help us set the algorithm to execute everything that the ASCCA may need. Just a thought, but if we have a psychologist, I think it will definitely be beneficial to a lot of us, me included.
I can chime in on that, and I won't get super crazy or technical with you guys. But there's even at-home tests that you can take. Me being an advisor for as long as I've been an advisor, you can take personality tests. It is the same as like when we walk into a shop and we sell to a customer, we are selling to everyone else in our association. Each person is different. Tim and I are actually a lot alike. I am the absolute worst person to sell to. I will not buy anything you want me to buy ever. It's going to take me 10 years to tell you, okay, sure. I have to sell my own self brakes. Do you know how long it took me to actually buy that? So that's just me as a person. But I think that you're right. It's the same thing. Like if we look at the mentality of our customers, why do our customers buy from us? It's not because we tell them, all right, cool, $750 for a brake job. That's cool with you, right? Thanks. No, we build value in our sales just like we should really build value in the association. We really need to key point our benefits. Like Norm, he's a shuttle service. Love you, Norm, but that's it. But you're a shuttle service. You're, the white glove treatment. You're the 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. You're whatever. That's what a lot of us are neglecting when we're talking to other people about being in the association. It's like I don't know if you remember, Mark actually had a shop owner down the street from us that had quote unquote joined, but I haven't seen him on a meeting since. Well, why? Yeah, it sucks that we do have to take time out of our personal lives for this. And yeah, it sucks that we do have to pay dues. But at the end of the day, we're a customer. Our customers still have to pay for our work and they still have to be a part of our business. But there is a very large benefit to that. And I really think that our benefits need to be highlighted with this. And I think that takes us as people to do that.
Pauline, it's because I didn't give him enough notice. I took the afternoon from the things I had to do. I delegated to my advisors, and I took the entire afternoon and called everybody in our chapter that was on all the board members' advisor list, at least the people I knew. And that's why we have the involvement today.
Wait a minute. So Tim took the last minute to make a decision? I'm so shocked.
Go figure. But it worked. And if what Gina's been saying is, why aren't more of us doing that? You don't have to be a board member to do that. We just have to be an accountability partner. And if that's what we're looking for, you have a team right here. By the way, I did call Robert Olivia, is who you're talking about. I pulled him off a car. His service advisor answered the phone, and she was like, "What are you trying to sell, Rob?" And I was like,
it's
"Hey,
his
Rob,
daughter.
It's Tim." But awesome. This is what I'm saying is she's not familiar enough with the association to go, "Oh, ASCCA, click." I can relate to that.
No, she honestly, this is what, and I'm going to be a little vulgar, but this is what pisses me off about Rob. His daughter is a freaking spitfire. She is so ready to like get in there and make changes and do what she's got to do and do the legwork. And you have Rob that's like, la-di-da, like I'm just gonna, I'm making money today. I made $5 today, but spent 10 grand, but I made money today. Like, God love him, but that's a lot of people that are out there. That is the target group that we're looking at, is people that they think that they made $5 but spent 10 grand in the process, and they don't get it. And that's fine. I am a new business owner. And even though I had a person that's been in business for 33 years, I love him to death, but he didn't leave me with a lot. He left me with, well, 30 years ago, it was X, Y, and Z. Okay, great. I live in the 21st century now, and I don't know what I don't know. And that's what I've really chalked everything up to getting this business and getting it on its feet from where I'm starting, is you don't know what you don't know. So being a part of an association with elderly people, not to be rude, but people that are older or people that have been in the industry a long time, or even people that have been in here for 5 minutes like me, like it's a really big benefit. We all have a lot to contribute.
Sorry, just cut in real quick. Tim, thank you for actually calling all those people awesome, and Colleen, thanks for shining in on that too. But a lot of things that also we should think about is like, when we make these calls, are we being effective? Are we asking the right questions? So, I mean, a lot of us are repair shops, right? And customer comes in, I have a whining noise, but do we ask, when does it make a noise? Are we asking the right question? When is it making a noise? I mean, under what condition, all that stuff, right? So calling this Rob or his daughter, whatever it is, yeah, the first thing come to their mind is, what are you telling me now? I don't need this. Get off my phone. That's what they're thinking. But if we have psychology wise, like understanding what they're thinking, what they need, then we can execute that better, be more effective. Same thing as Mitchell's or Aldata comes in and say, hey, I'm here to sell you labor guides. But the question is like, do we need labor guides? There's people can get bootlegs, right? So they don't need it. So they'll tell them, just please leave the doors that way, show yourself way out. So bottom line is, are we asking the right questions? And something to know, I believe this is true data, is most of the repair shop owners came from a mechanical background. And what that means is that they're thinking about getting the repairs done. That's their priority. So what is their second priority? What are the difficulties that they're seeing? How do we grab their attention by saying, hey, you're struggling with this. Now Aldata or Mitchell's can come in and let me help you with this. Let me just show you here. I don't know how to explain it exactly because my English is not the greatest. So the bottom line is, what will grab their attention? What is music to their ears? That way we can execute by selling memberships or selling whatever that we need to sell, like grab their attention. And then from there, we can really move on to the next level, because everybody have great ideas, SOPs, structures, procedures, checking the list. Seesaw comes in as a great, 10,000 checklist. All those things are great. But the question is, how do we put those into action for the shop owner who actually needs it? But also, which part do they actually need? Because if we throw all these stuff to them, they don't need it. We should, just like our benefits in a sense, we have 500 different benefits. All we really need is probably maybe 2 or 3 each category, because other than that, we get overwhelmed. We just be like, let's just put that under our stash. So that's what I'm trying to get at, asking the right questions, psychologically asking the right questions to get the attention that we need, so we can engage them better, pretty much.
Which, Greg, I'll have a question for you. So are you an advisor or are you a tech? Where'd you come from?
I have maybe 5% mechanical background. I'm not a tech, definitely not a tech.
Nah,
and,
preach it, please preach it.
Okay. I came from the service advisor side of it. And I pretty much learned everything through management side of it, learning everything from the dealership.
That's the point that I'm trying to make, though. So you and I think Thomas, I don't remember if you have technical background or not, correct?
I do not have technical background, very little.
I'm talking to Thomas, who's not paying any attention to me right now.
Greg, it's my turn, okay? Stop telling me. By the way, I'd like to know, you did not want to join for such a long time. I had to hound you. Then you gave him the credit. So you should answer that own question yourself, buddy.
So we're at the top of the hour. We advertise this as a 1 hour kind of a brainstorming session. So we're at the top of the hour. If you would like to be involved, and I hope all of you will, would you please send Joseph an email or, yes, I want to be involved. We'll build a distribution list. Then we'll start sending information out a little at a time, hopefully getting your ideas, your opinions, and then we can formulate a plan within the next 4 weeks, I'm hoping, maybe, or less.
Let me put it this way. I have a list of everybody who's here. So if you don't want to be on that list, let me know. Otherwise, I'll add you. I'll look up your email and I'll add you to the list. I'm assuming that since you're here tonight, you want to be involved.
So
can we stay longer if we want to? Those of you that want to go.
Yeah, and I super appreciate everybody's time. I know time is valuable. We're all super busy folks, and I'm getting ready to leave town again, so I'm gonna scoot out of here. But by all means,
Gene, one day I will be like you. One day.
It only took me 42 years to get this way, so hang in there.
I have a goal.
But I could have done it. I could have done it in 30 years had I listened to folks like you and been more engaged and not been so damn stubborn. So my goal is to teach young people how to get out early and be successful, and it's absolutely possible. I coach other shops, and it's amazing what you can accomplish with a little bit of hard work and dedication to the company. So I had these like all this list of stuff I wanted to go over, but you guys talk too much. So I'll put it in the email and we'll send it out to you. And I would appreciate any honest input, any wild ideas. I really want to get marketing campaign going, a Facebook, social media, which I'm not very good at. So anybody that's really good at that, that has ideas, I'd love it. Lay it
I
on.
saw that in Colleen.
But yeah,
Just
so I
let
think
the millennials lead the way, Gene. Let the millennials lead the way.
I'm all in. That's why I have staff that does it for me, because I don't want to know how to do it. So
Hey, I'm not a millennial, but I appreciate all the push and the effort you put into it, because when you hold us accountable, we get results and then we pass it forward to the young generation. And look how many young people are here today that want to be here. So thank you for all of the input. Those of you that want to stay, I've got another 30 minutes.
yeah. So
Joseph, I
remember,
don't know
I'm
about
staying
you.
for another 30 minutes. So
I'll stay.
30 members is only half of our group getting one member. So it's not an insurmountable task. It's just everybody finding one shop to join. And then John, if you'll find 10, then we'll be good. Remember, you make $125 for every shop you get to sign up for a year. So that's some pretty
I'm
good
sorry, what
coin,
the
you know?
millennial was listening. You get money back for what, Gene?
Yeah, I've already done the math on it. I can make money off this.
Yeah. And that's another thing, we might do. We might put together a bounty for the associate members, bringing somebody in.
I was also listening. What's the bounty again, Gene? I'm so sorry.
$125 for you.
So, but anyways, thank you very much, everybody. Super awesome to have all you folks here. And I, my phone is always on, so please don't hesitate to call me if you have any questions.
Will do.
Thank you, Gene.
Have a good evening.
Thank you,
All right,
Gene.
thanks,
Good night.
Gene. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, for
Oh,
Okay.
those
Some of you new people haven't
Okay.
been on this too long. Some of the things that ASC has done through time, the biggest thing was the people from the ASC is the one that invented the OBD2 plug for the cars. If it wasn't
Kyler.
for that, every manufacturer would have 10 different plugs each year and there'd be no working on cars. Right, Gene?
So is
Or
that like
Glenn?
going from A-track to CD?
What?
If you if you
I cracked myself up.
if you guys look at the
I said, is that like going from A-track to CD?
I heard you. I
you
laughed.
skipped about 5 mediums in there.
Greg has his hand up.
They did the write it right to where you could have the information. The BMW key bill that we fought a couple of years ago, the Trevor Law Group, all these are ASC things that the whole organization in a whole did. Without any of these, we'd all have been in big trouble years ago.
Yeah, but
Kirk-
hold on. I want to ask a
Kirk-
question. How many people are actually implementing Write It Right in your shop? How many people are actually writing down complaint, cause, correction, and verification in their shop?
This meeting is being recorded. Don't say anything.
And that's okay. Because those of you that aren't, this is the opportunity where we can fix that. Thomas, you got some amazing ideas.
Guys,
Amazing
Guys,
ideas.
Guys, if you have the membership recruitment packet that ASCCA puts out, the list of accomplishments that ASCCA has done over the years is something that I authored and that they're still using today. So if you want to use that, you may do that. It's in the membership recruitment packet.
I'm not sure that I've
Awesome.
even seen the membership recruitment packet. You mean what
Are
they
you
send
serious?
out after you join or before you join?
Before you join it, I wrote down one time, we were at a chapter reps meeting and everybody was trying to figure out how to sell ASCCA membership. And I said, guys, it's real easy. Just show everybody what we've done over the years. And they said, well, why don't you do that? And in about 10 minutes, I wrote this full page article on all of the things that ASCCA has done, from Jack Kyler with the OBD2 connection on through the BMW key thing. And it's in the membership packet as a recruitment document. At least it was for quite a few years.
You still have that document? Can you
Oh, yeah.
send it to me? Send
I
it to
have-
me, please.
I have that document, and as chapter rep, this is something that they're getting involved. Membership recruitment proposal outreach program. And there's that. There's another thing that I really wanted to bring up in the last team meeting, last team weekend that got brought up that I had no idea. And I bet you Javier hasn't got this, and I bet you Greg hasn't got this. It says new member survey. and there's a bunch of questions. Maybe I missed it when I got it. Has anybody else that's a new member got a new member survey? I just wanted.
I have not got it.
Thomas, you got one? You filled it out? Did you fill it out and send it back?
So
I'm pretty sure I did. I don't remember though.
Here's why I asked. Here's why I ask. I was looking through it. It's got some very awesome questions that tells the board or the state about how your business is doing. But there's a lot of questions that's not in here. Do you track your numbers monthly, weekly? This is information I think Norm might have bounced out, but like, how often do you track your numbers? Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? Do you report them to a coach? Do you have a coach? Have you joined to 20 groups before? I mean, this new member survey should be a part of information that we as leaders get back and go, how can we help the shops? What can we do as a board to help Gary's shop be more prosperous? What can we do as a board to help Thomas's shop be more prosperous? Colleen's on fire, so we just watch her and write down a bunch of great ideas.
Don't give me too much credit, guys. I'm still just winging it.
Tim, one of the questions that hang on a second, then. Tim, if the state is supposed to send those out and not everybody's getting them, then I would suggest that you get a copy from me and we can, I don't want to necessarily duplicate it so we get in the same thing, but they can get a chapter version of it. So can you get one of those to me?
Absolutely. It's on the packet of last team weekend. I will get it on over to you. Actually, I wrote down my notes and I asked John Epstein, who do I get this to? And he said, get it to membership and get it to me. So if you guys see more things that we should be asking in this new member survey, we should definitely put it on the table and I will get it to you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Colleen, you insinuated that some of us are old guys,
with your cane.
Okay.
Aww, with your cane.
But when I was president of ASCCA, I made it a point that every chapter I visited, and I went from San Diego to Redding, I would get there 2 days before the chapter meeting, and I met with chapter leadership, and we talked about some shops that I went to. But I spent half my time going into shops you would never want to take your car into. And I walked in there for a specific purpose because I wanted to see how they operate. And I always, I had my ASCCA shirt on and I had my my folder and some stuff. And I kind of looked around at their shop and kind of gave them a quick 30-second idea of where their shop was. But at that time, we were having things like tire pressure monitoring regulations and the new air conditioning regulations and a whole bunch of stuff coming down the pike. And I figured I had about 30 seconds to talk to this shop owner before they showed me the door. And so I walked in, I said, hi, I'm Glenn Davis. I'm a shop owner from Southern California or wherever. I belong to ASCCA. I know you're busy and I don't want to take a whole lot of your time, but I want to leave some information for you. And have you heard about the new air conditioning regulations or the tire pressure documenting regulations that you're going to need to start doing on your repair orders? If not, there's my card. And I would leave. I would give them about 20 seconds of boilerplate there. And as I was starting to leave, I would say probably 8 out of the 10 shops that I visited over those 2 days, probably 16 out of the 20, every single one of them stopped me and started asking me questions about this stuff that I knew they had no information about. And then I started talking to them about the different things that ASCCA can provide to them at a very reasonable cost. And they don't even have to go to the meetings. They just have to belong and the information will be sent to them. And if they choose to join later on and become active members, they can do that. But we got a tremendous amount of leads going in with that kind of mindset saying, not every shop owner has the same needs. And maybe some of these guys are looking for some information. Some people are just looking for some advice. I think ASCCA can provide both. And that's what we really need to focus on is what the product is that we're trying to sell to that shop owner when we go to see them the very first time, because it's not the same for every shop owner.
It gets back to asking the right questions.
It's the what?
Right. And this is why I kind of asked Greg, where does Greg come from? So, you know, being me, I'm an advisor. I've always been an advisor. I started at dead freaking bottom and made it to where I'm at. So I asked Greg, where did you come from? Because a lot of these panels, you know, shops come from a technician that bought a shop. It's not common to have an advisor that decided to buy a shop. Why? Because we know what the numbers are. We're not that stupid, but some of us are. So, you know, that's why Greg keeps bringing in the psychology behind this, because our jam is sales. And that's what ASC really needs. You know, when I first started, no one ever told me like, oh, ASC has A, B, C, and D, and you can do this and you can do that. No, it was a bunch of old guys drinking beer, having some chicken wings and saying, yeah, my shop is great. And so is mine. You know, it's very different and it's evolved very much from when I first got into the industry. Stop laughing, Thomas. I see you. Okay, we're on Zoom. Don't forget. But that's what it was. And the value was never built. And that's why a lot of like Greg, me, and I know Thomas, I don't remember if you were in tech or not, or half a tech or whatever. I know your wife is awesome. So I don't know about you, but but that's why a lot of advisors give their perspectives on these, which is why I love the ASCCA, because we're not unified in any way, shape, or form. Each person's shop is extremely different, but we all have a lot of key points to bring to it. And that's why I like the fact that me starting from where I started at being now, are seeing people like Greg or people like Thomas or people like Tim, which was a tech, but I don't know what the heck he is now. He's winging it too, I guess. But hey, good job. You have Johanna. I'm proud of you.
Javier's a new member, and Javier, you went advisor, become owner, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Ah, then you should have spoke up earlier, Javier. We have to be united over here.
Oh,
I don't know how long his hand has been up.
yeah, I just wanted to point out, it sounds like every time that you guys are able to recruit, it's because you're speaking to the other shops. I just found out about features and benefits tonight that I wasn't aware of, only because I heard you guys talking about it. I got folders and packets and information, but who has the time to read all that? Who has the time to go to the website? We need to reach out to these shops, talk to the people that count, and let them know what is out
I think if we do that on a smaller level here in our chapter, we have board members and we have good, strong members like Gary. We can learn so much from Gary and the experience that he has. Gary's one of the OGs of this association, back before it even had different acronyms. So if we're not taking some of those processes, some of those good points, and putting a young respin on it, come on, guys, look at, they take 70s disco songs, they add freaking beats to it, and they re-put it out as new songs. It's the same music, just revamped. Glenn, why don't we take some of those whiteboard ideas, things that did not work, put Colleen, Esteban, Greg, Thomas, Gary, Gene, Tim together and go, let's moderate this properly. Joseph, you take great notes and put a good fresh spin on it. Why you don't know this information is we failed to PR it correctly. And when you've got people like Jennifer from Rockstar Marketing, and you've got people like Thomas, Brandon Thomas from Revo, who's going to be on Chapter 48 Zoom meeting tomorrow, by the way. You've got people like Melissa Birdie, who does my marketing. They hold me accountable to, hey, what do you want me to post? Hey, what do you want me to put on your blog? If I don't have that information, it's not their bad. I paid them for that. I just failed to follow up. But if we don't have that, and we don't have that accountability from the small business to right down to the chapter level to each other, how are we going to get anything accomplished?
You know, in my in my restaurant association, we have a we have a YouTube channel, and usually it comes out at least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 times a month, depending on how things are moving, the issues that are happening with COVID, obviously in the restaurants. We've almost had them weekly, but one of the spokesladies for the Restaurant Association comes on and says 2 minutes from the California Restaurant Association, and it's a quick YouTube 2-minute update on what's going on, and the links of that's going on, and the Zoom meetings and everything else that are going on. You know, that might be something for the chapter to think about, is to have maybe a YouTube channel that gives any member a chance to go on and get a quick 2-minute update on whatever's going on with the association, or any new items that are coming up that need to be addressed, so that it's not being overwhelmed. They don't have to read a whole lot. They can get the, you know, the cliff notes, if you will, and then move on with their day.
You know, I can I add in really quick one. I think all that's a great idea. But I'm kind of thinking again towards how we even do our own marketing. You know, if we do direct mail saturation, like mailers, very expensive, right? But we got to, of course, know our avatar, which is what, you know, was discussed earlier. And if we're not doing enough internal marketing, which I think what Tim was hitting, like, what is our responsibility as members right now, especially if we have low membership count? No, we all should probably sit to the plate and just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna commit time to reach out to shop owners I heard about, I want to know more about. I mean, it's not their benefits, our own benefit. There's a shop that I like and I heard great things. I want to talk to them. You know, hey, what are you doing over here? By the way, you should join ASCCA. I think we should all commit ourselves to doing that. It takes time, but it doesn't have to be forever either. Just get some more membership, and then we'll dial it in even more. We'll keep dialing this in, because there's a different generation. We discussed that, and maybe even topics like, if the older generation is retiring, maybe acquisition and maybe, you know, retirement talk is more out there, or new shop owners coming in. But we all gotta step up. I think that's the biggest thing, because Joseph, I don't know who got me in. Tim or Joseph I found you in. I don't remember, but they worked me, you know. So we gotta work the system too.
All right, Greg, your hand is up.
You know,
Hey,
I
guys,
have something to say. I noticed that all of us here, Greg said something interesting about psychology. I really, really believe everything has everything to do with psychology. No one's buying from you because you are a better auto repair shop. I'm telling you that right now. Just recently, David Fisher had a thing about a price on a brake job on Team Talk. And all I can think about is, how did that other shop screw up because they didn't use the right psychology? They just tried to sell a brake job. Well, guess what happened? Someone else sold that brake job a little bit cheaper. Glenn said something interesting. He walks in, he creates a situation where they want part of it, and he walks out. And all they can do is chase him down, say, hey, help me with this. Well, what are you saying? So like Thomas said, we need to create something that everybody wants to come chasing after us. Maybe we pick one shop, we all discuss it, and 3 of the members or 4 of the members go there and tell him, hey, you know what? We'll give you half hour of our time. Any questions you have, you can talk to us, and impress them and walk out. And then this guy's going to be knocking on our door saying, hey, I want to be part of you guys because that was amazing what you guys did to me. And Joseph, one more thing I wanted to say. Is there any way we could have a logo that you can click on that would say Elite Automotive Service of California, so that people could see that when they click on that, the code of ethics pops up, how we operate, so that every shop wants to be a member to put that on their advertising, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. It would say something, somebody has to come up with a few words that says, the most trusted shops of California, ASCCA. You click on it, it tells you how we operate. And any person that's a member has that hyperlink in their website, in their Facebook, in their Instagram. And another shop that wants that, the only way they can get it is they become part of the ASCCA.
That's a great idea. The answer is yes. I have no clue how, but I know that it's possible.
I can help with that. Esteban's wife does a lot of the stuff for their chapter because Esteban is the president of chapter 14. So I've taken a couple of our ideas and sent it on over to him and said, dude, what do you think of this? And I thought I did a pretty good job of what we had on that one marketing, but what he sent me was amazing. And
Guys, Greg has had his hand up for a while.
Yeah.
It's young people with the technology that we're using digitally now, free information. Yes, it's doable.
And you know, when I'm talking about my pricing to someone and they start questioning and they say to me, oh, you know what? I checked like 10 other shops. They're like 10% lower than you. So you know what? I'm going to send you something and you read this and you let me know what you think. And I send a code of ethics, how our company operates, what we go with. And within 2 seconds, they go, you know what? I said, all of my employees and all of my staff, and we've been doing this for 40 years, 35 years. This is how we operate. And right away, they're not giving me the business because of my parts, my service, nothing, except because how I believe our company should operate. So ASCCA means nothing to the consumer, and probably 20, 30%, 40% of the shops don't even know what that is. They don't even know. So by clicking on it, or before they click on it, it should say something like the elite auto service centers or the most trusted auto service centers. And then you click on it, tells you why we are the most trusted. Wow, everybody wants to be part of that, you know?
So Gary, I'll have something to add to that because this is what I do.
Wait a minute, Colleen.
Yeah.
Greg has had his hand up for a long
Sorry,
time.
let me butt in real quick. Yeah. So if you guys remember, Tim mentioned the fact that just everybody use Right or Right, the 3 C's. So just for you guys' information, if you guys just call the Bureau of Automotive Repair, they will send someone to your shop and coach your service advisors how to write it right. And that's free of charge. That's the first thing I want to cover. Second thing is that I'm curious. I mean, are us independent repair shops practicing how the dealership does it? And the reason I'm asking that is because, I mean, example, Porsche spend billions of dollars on marketing. Bring it down to the fact, like, you know, what age group, what kind of car they drive, what mostly like they have as the second car, third car. I mean, back to data driven. I mean, are we practicing what the dealership's doing? Because they're the one who actually is the most successful. We're the only one that doesn't have the funding, the people to actually open the dealership. So are we practicing what the dealership is doing, but doing it better? Because Gary, Thomas, Tim, I mean, me, we're the best. I mean, we are the one who's going to sell the business the best possible because that's our business. So are we practicing what the dealership is doing? Probably not, right? I mean, how is dealership staying in business decades over decades? How are they profitable month in, month out? Through COVID, they're breaking records. I mean, are we breaking records? Right. So I mean, why aren't we practicing what the dealership doing? I mean, or we are.
Write down in the chats in a nutshell what they're doing that you think we can emulate.
Literally everything from marketing, from SOP.
No, I'm like, hold on. I have a whole like webinar to host on this. Let me tell you.
Yeah. This is fantastic because honestly, Greg, I agree with you. We should be watching the dealership, not to mimic them, but they do shit. To put it into perspective, New Century BMW
100%.
does 100 cars a day. I don't do 100 cars a month.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like example, they tell the customer, well, you know, give me, I need 15% off because an independent shop down the street will do it. I mean, they'll tell them, piss off, get out of my shop. I mean, we can't tell them that. We know we can't tell them that. And it's better to make $200 off the job, keep the technicians at flow, keep the advisors at flow, keep whatever else at flow, you know, and also, I mean, whatever it is. Why not make that profit versus just say, get out of my shop? I mean, we're not going to do what the dealership does. We're going to be transparent. We're going to maximize every single repaired orders as possible, but just better than the dealership. But exact same structure, exact same way, from the service advisors to the technicians to the marketing, and along with everything else. And keep in mind, the dealerships, not dealerships, the manufacturers spend billions of dollars on every single group, every single possible thing they can think of to continue to be in business, to being decades. Why not just get their idea and do it exactly how they do it, but we do it better because because we are behind it and we are watching exactly what we're doing. We're smaller, so we can maximize it, be more efficient until we get to the point that we have 3 shops, 5 shops, 10 shops, right? And the truth, I mean, not to badmouth anybody, don't take it the wrong way. I mean, most of us saying that, yeah, you want a 3 months vacation, 4 months vacation, but our primary focus is not there. Our primary focus is actually, let's break a record month first, and then we can go from there.
Oh, Greg, I love you. I
Only
do.
on Tuesdays, please.
You should take my info down and we can talk. I have literally spent my entire year, like my entire, what is it? I'm 29 right now. I started when I was 19. So 10 years in this industry trying to understand dealerships. And I have literally built a customer model around that. Everything you say is 100% true. Why does a customer choose the dealership versus me? Well, customer is educated that the dealership knows absolutely everything. So how do you counteract that? I've literally built all of my sales around that. I actually have dealerships in my area referring people to me.
That's awesome. That's great.
Because you have people understand, and like I spend a lot of time shopping my dealerships. It's, can I talk to a technician? Can I talk to a service advisor? Okay, if you understand a dealership, their service advisors suck. They have no idea what A, B, C, and D is. They have a technician hand them a clipboard and says, sell it. They have no idea who their customer is. They don't give a shit. They're trying to make sales. A technician is told to either do fluid services, do the heavy duty shit, or I actually do have a dealership technician in my workshop right now, in my shop, who has literally blatantly stated to me that he has taken their test pads, which have 1 millimeter on them, and have swapped them out on a customer's car that has at least 4 or 5. So these things really do happen. Shop, understand, do your research. Same thing with ASCCA. So let's flip it back to that. Same thing. Why would someone walk into my shop and want me to spend or my due to be a part of an association when, I'm sorry, I already know what I have to do? Yeah, okay, you don't. Sell it. Educate your customers. That is what the industry is lacking, is education. From a dealership level to a shop level to a frickin' Jiffy Lube level. God forbid they do not start doing brakes nationwide. But that is how it is. Educate yourself on what your competition is around you. My biggest competition is dealerships. I don't have every small business that I was in competition with, unfortunately, due to COVID, is under. But my biggest competition is dealership. Understand what yours is. That doesn't mean it's a dealership. That means that for Tim's perspective, Tim, you have a plethora of really good high-end shops in your area, which actually kind of sucks because I want to be in Pasadena because y'all make money and I don't. Just kidding. But you understand what your competition is. Get in their head. Understand how they do business, and whether that's a dealership, another business owner, another shop owner, whatever it is. Get in their head.
Colleen,
You can,
yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Make your okay, so those service advisors, those technicians, I hope they become your best friend. And the reason I say that is because you know exactly how they're going to operate, and which means you know exactly how dealership's going to operate, which is going to benefit you.
They're
and I
so
hope
great
you make,
for me.
Yeah, I hope you make their service manager your best friend also, because they're going to tell you exactly how they're going to market and who they may
best
use.
Friend, whatever.
Well, guys, I think one of the hooks we can maybe start using, you guys were talking about the dealerships and stuff, but so many shop owners want to be AAA approved, right? The consumer knows what AAA approved means for years. And I keep going back to this because you guys don't know my history and don't know how long I've been involved in this stuff. But, I've said for years that we need to have an ASCCA approved marketing campaign for the consumer, because we get more shop owners belonging to ASCCA if consumers sought us out rather than the other people. And I want to show you guys a little bit of history here. We all talk about the 10-point code of ethics, right? I have the original code of ethics. Here they are. These codes of ethics were in Wayne Shuck's shop in 1938 in mid-cities. This was on his wall, Okay. He is one of the founding
Mark
members.
has one too, Glenn.
He is one of the founding members of ASCCA. He was one of the guys who was on the shop floor with a piece of chalk one night, thinking that in the 1940s there were no rules, there were no regulations. There was a lot of nefarious stuff going on in auto repair, and Wayne Shucks and the rest of the boys down in mid-cities decided that they wanted to teach consumers that there was a better way to get their cars fixed. And when they created IGO, that was the document they used to create the 10-point code of ethics. And if you read it, almost every single one of them is verbatim to what we have today. I think we need to develop an ASCCA approved shop campaign for the consumer, so the consumers look for our logo and seek us out. And if they seek us out, then more people will want to join us because there's a monetary benefit to what they're doing.
Okay, we are at past 8:30.
Can we give Thomas a minute? Because he's going to pop if he doesn't get this information
I was going to say,
out.
is it past my bedtime? I'm not tired yet.
No, I think,
No,
Thomas,
it's-
you and I
Go
talked
ahead,
about
Thomas. Go ahead, Thomas.
What do you want me to say, Tim?
In that case, never mind.
I agree. There's a couple of things you wanted to chime in on, but the one thing that I really appreciated about what you're doing is, and I know you agreed with Glenn, is you guys are doing a in-house onboarding certification. And I know you wanted to talk about that, which has a lot to do with what Glenn's talking about, which Colleen has done, and we have kind of done as an association, but haven't applied it as a chapter.
Okay, I'll give a quick synapse on it. That was very proprietary there, Tim. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. What we're doing is we're building what we call the Crown City Tire Academy, and it's basically an internal certification program for our technicians that helps not only to get them certified in the sense, hey, you can do great jobs now. I don't care if you're a master tech with master certification, you must know the Crown City Tire way. That way I can trust you in doing that. But also it helps to create a career path for those who are apprentices and want to move their way up. But create a standardized operating procedures with quality, but also within the academy, they must have these core fundamentals with teamwork, mentorship, all that. So we get we're really kind of vetting out the people who are, viruses and bad apples, that kind of thing. So it's really just for us to say, hey, you know what? I really hate ASC certification. It's not because you got people who don't know English that well and they're great technicians, but you know what? I want to recognize your skill set, but I want to make sure I standardize that and make it hard for you to say be level 3 or level 2 in our shop. So we do want to grow. The only way we can grow is having the right people. So that's what we're doing on that. Is that good, Tim? There you go.
Okay, I want to go back in history one more time real quick. Back in the day, in chapter 5, we used to, once a month, we would go to one of the shopping malls and we would get a 10 by 10 place out in the middle of the shopping mall. And we would have brochures for not only the motorists that highlighted all of the chapter 5 members, our code of ethics, and what we stood for as an association. But we also had a secondary brochure. So when mechanics or shop owners happened to come by, we would be able to give that to them too. Perhaps we could re-implement that. That's probably, I want to guess that's probably about 25 years ago that we used to do this kind of stuff. But we might want to think about having some kind of monthly something at a shopping center and at the front at their entrance or whatever, where we could give things to people, talking about the chapter 5 members. If we're not talking about a chapter growth, we need to talk about chapter retention. And if we put more money in our chapter members' pockets, it keeps them involved.
We call this Facebook now, Glenn.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
See, I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy. I like to talk to people and hand them something and try to find out what pushes their button.
I think that's why I like Thomas and I, because we are hybrids. I like touchy-feely. I would much rather pick up the phone. Stop it, Thomas. Do not shake your head right now. We're trying to look good right now. Stop. So No, but touchy-feely is me. I do want to reach out and be on the phone and talk to people in person. If you want to text, I mean, I guess my work order system has customers okay things from their computer, which actually makes me really sad. I want to talk to you and sell shit. Like, thank you for the $5,000 okay, but I at least wanted to sell it to you. Like, give me a challenge.
So one of the things I think we should really bring together is in our chapter, how many of the shops want to put forth this effort? And I think having them be on a team system, we can call it ASCCA Chapter 5 team. The people that want to be here, obviously the shops that are in this association or in this chapter, we know what our weekly numbers are. We report what our weekly numbers are, so we know how to adjust. So let's take that to the extreme of the ones that are doing it. What did you learn from it? If you don't want to share the numbers, that's totally fine. That's why they have the smart groups, WorldPack smart groups, $550. You can join in. There will be a bunch of people that are join and compete with it. You can learn from that. Or if you want to do it the ASCCA way, we can find out what benefits and features did we gain from this that we're actually willing to put forth, like you said, Thomas, volunteer time away from my business that I carved out that I want to see a return on my investment. Those are going to be
Which,
the elite.
by the way, if you talk to your WorldPack rep and you are very volatile and an asshole like Colleen, that becomes free.
It depends on how much money you're spending.
Because I'm a very pushy female. I don't, honestly, I would love to spend a lot with WorldPack. I would. But I'm pretty sure I put the fear of Colleen in my sales rep. He gives me a lot of stuff for free. And then the best part is I did sign up for TechNet, and the TechNet representative, when he comes into my shop, he can't make eye contact with me. So he really likes anything that I have to say too. So if you really push, all this stuff becomes free.
Well, more than free, I think it drives home that you get what you want. If you're persistent enough, you get what you want. And
You
I
do.
think
You have to be pushy. In this industry, I've learned just from being a young female to still a young female. If you if you are pushy and you are persistent, and not even if you're a female, I don't give a shit what your gender is, but if you are persistent and you're pushy, everything becomes free. If you do, it's a give and take relationship. Honestly, I learned at a young age, if you build a relationship with your part suppliers, not that, okay, I'm going to give you $10,000 a month and everything's going to be hunky dory. There are some months where I can't give them even 3, or I can't even give them 2. And that's in WorldPack realm, that's nothing. That is a drop in the bucket. They should look at me as a freaking peon. But putting the fear of Colleen in them with my nice personality, because I kiss ass to my part suppliers as much as I hate it, it works. And it's just really building a relationship. It's not a dollar amount, it's a relationship. It's the same thing that we do in our businesses every day. Why does your customer spend X amount of dollars on a brake job when they can go to Valvoline or Brake Masters, God love them for their lifetime brake jobs, and get it super freaking cheap? It's the same thing with ASCCA. Why in the world would I spend money to be a part of an association with me? Because my puffed out chest, I'm a business owner and I know everything. Okay, I don't. I know what I know, and I know how to be an advisor. I know how to run a good shop, and I know how to make money. Please, dear God, don't ask me where that shit goes, because I have advisors and business coaches to do that. But a lot of people don't get that. They became a technician that wanted to make money, or they're an advisor that's like, wow, I made this much money in gross profit each month, but I have no idea what a P&L is or a balance sheet. I have no idea where my money goes. You know, everything is perception from the person on the other end. And that's where you have to build value, just like customer, advisor, technician, owner, whatever.
Sorry, off the topic. Pastor Joseph, I know you're going to get a lot of feedbacks, emails, and all that stuff. I'm just curious. I mean, if you don't mind, I'd like to be involved with that and maybe I can grab a cup of coffee with Tim or Thomas, since all of us are local, because I'm curious, like, if there's a structure or a process that we can actually find a way to execute all this, because all of us have a lot of data. I mean, the whole ASCCA has a lot of data, a lot of resources, a lot of different procedures and all that. But the question is, how are we going to execute everything to make ASCCA, our chapter, better? So I would be like to be involved if it's possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've been listening obviously tonight, and there's been a lot of things said, and it would be, in my mind, it would be good if we could boil it down to one or two things that, just like we said, Greg, that you know, we can take a bite out of it and implement it. I mean, what I've heard, and you know, this is me from my perspective. You know, Colleen, you were talking about relationship, and it was mentioned earlier. The best salespeople, on one hand, sure, our associate vendors can be great salespeople for ASCCA, but that's what they are, the salespeople for ASCCA and for the company they work for. But shop owners are not salespeople. They're shop owners, they're peers, they're people that are in the industry. And, you know, what I've thought for years is, if we could get our members, each of our members, to just target one shop, find one shop they think would be a good candidate for ASCCA, and spend a freaking year inviting them to meetings, talking to them, calling them, you know, letting them know what the benefits are, we could easily grow our membership. I mean, that's, you know, so my challenge would be, what, from everything we've talked about tonight, I mean, we've talked about the great value and the great benefits and the features. What's the missing link, which we've also pointed out, is getting the word out there. How do we let people know how good ASCCA is? And in my mind, again, it's find that one shop. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shop owners here right now. Did I count right, Colleen?
So, Joseph,
let me just say, if each one of you simply found one shop and courted them and talked to them, called them every other week or whatever it was, and if you got that shop to join, we would increase our membership by 10% this year. Just
right,
you who
just
are here
this
right
year
now
alone.
Okay, so based on this meeting tonight, why don't we create a chapter product? Okay, we've all been talking about peer review and all these things. Everybody on this call tonight has a unique skill set unto their own, and how they made their business successful, financially, psychologically, socially, all of those different types of things. Why don't we find a couple of shop owners that we want to target and ask them for no charge to come in and have a Zoom meeting with 2 or 3 shop owners or whatever, find out what their main issue is and make it private, because one-on-one, sometimes people don't have those skill sets to be able to go from start to finish and complete something, but maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of us can gang up on them and make them feel belonged. And maybe we can start doing that as a sole chapter benefit program. And let's start with some brand new shop owners, or even the existing shop owners, and say, hey, you know, we don't want to air your dirty laundry in front of the entire chapter. That's uncomfortable and people don't like to do that. But maybe if you had, you know, a select few of people that would be discreet and talk about the real issues that they're really scared about or concerned about, and you could give them real world answers, that might be the thing that pushes them over the edge to belong.
I think we should strategize that, actually, because I mean, like go back to be data driven. I think we should strategize like how to ask other shop owners to join, because if we keep on telling, hey, person A, person B, person C, hey, bring another person on board, bring another person on Zoom meeting, nobody's really accountable for it. So people do it at their convenience, or people do it because they're bored, or people do it they feel like they need to. I think we should maybe find a dedicated person or dedicated team to do it. That way they have the exact focus and also have a complete sales pitch, maybe, or maybe ASCCA has some funding they can expense, bring them donuts to do a visit, in-person visit, maybe, to just break the ice in a sense. I mean, I think we definitely should strategize it to the point that we can make the best out of our time.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
Greg,
it
if
necessarily has
it's
to
if
be.
it's important enough to
I was gonna say it doesn't have to be an
Go ahead,
either or,
Joseph.
but a both and. Go ahead, Colleen.
If it's important enough, you'll do it, right? I mean, I totally get it. But here's the thing. People are not focused. Their priority is thinking about how do I get this problem called out. I mean, I'm 8 hours into this job. Do I get the 8 hours in? That's what most shop owners are thinking about the job they're on or their technicians on. But I think, I mean, so they won't think about our phone calls or our friends calling them or just a cold phone call coming in. It's like, that's not priority. It's like coming back to like, what are you trying to sell me now? Get out of my face, right?
Well, and this is why, Greg, honestly, I love you so much. I really do. Every point you have is just so spot on. But this is what the point that I've been driving the whole time that I've been in this industry is the same thing. Honestly, at the bare minimum level, we are the freaking battery guy that is coming in to sell you interstate, guys. Okay. No one wants to hear from you. You get the same dang thing every time. You don't want to hear what they have to say because honestly, it's another person walking in your door that wants you to spend money. That is everything that is the ASCCA. And that's not to be a negative. That's just to put it into perspective.
But if we strategize it, we can make a difference. So for
exactly. It is highlighting shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you come into a shop who's not knowledgeable about the Bureau of Automotive Repair, who gets complaints from the Bureau of Automotive Repair, that's the easy way it is. Say, hey, how about I get a Bureau of Automotive Repair, come to your
100%.
shop, give you that. So we have to, I mean, back to sales, I feel like, right? So
yes.
How do we get them in? What is the music to their ears to the point that we can execute it, get them to listen
money,
what
baby,
about.
every day. It's money. Do not highlight the fact that there's dues. Highlight all of the key points, just like you would do to your customer that does not want to buy your brake job. Same thing. Because the ASCCA honestly has so many benefits, so many insane, awesome benefits, which I'm even still learning being 10 years into this. It's selling to the right clientele. And honestly, ASCCA is everyone's the right clientele if you can talk to them right.
Yeah, so
everyone is.
We're here to help, right? We're here to service the community. So why not? I mean, instead of focusing on selling, getting them joined, why not just help them? Like I don't know who goes to church. I don't go to church, but I practice a lot of stuff from church. It's like, why not just give back to the community? Because we are already servicing the community. So give them, help the shop owners.
Jesus gave up on me a long time ago. So just saying.
but kill them with kindness, be helpful, be there for them, be their support. And they are going to pick up the phone and call you. 100%. And then they might ask you, how do you know all this? Then we can come back on the ASCCA and then let them decide if they want to join or not. So it's instead of selling, why not just help them and continue to help them and then let them know how we got our resources, how we became so powerful, and then tell them, say, hey, you all come to join us. Come to our Zoom, then we can throw it in. Come to our Zoom meeting, come to our cocktail hours, whatever it is.
Yeah, Tim, go ahead.
I think I have a leg up just because I started up. So go ahead.
No, I think you guys brought out a lot of good points. Listen, if you want to make a difference, reach the ones that were at the last meeting. Javier, you're a trooper. You've been at all the meetings because you want to succeed. You want your business to win. So somebody other than me, call Robert Olivier tomorrow. I will PM me and I will get you his cell phone number, because what I'm doing now is when I call the shops, I say, do you want me to text you the link? And if they say yes,
I have his wife's number, so
fantastic. Let's do this. Text him tomorrow and say, hey, did Tim call you? Yeah. Oh man, you missed a good one. Make sure you watch the recording and wait for Joseph to put it out. And Joseph, if we make that, hey, this is what you missed, a little bit more like da, they'll want to actually chime in later on, because Gene couldn't make our last meeting, but I got 7 phone calls from our last meeting, and they were like, dude, that was awesome. 7 phone calls from our last meeting that said that was awesome. And we had 32 members. We had 32 people on that chapter call. I think we had like, I don't know how many we had at Team Weekend, but we had a lot of people at the chapter call. And my point is, it's because we reached out. So will you do me a favor, Colleen? Will you call Robert tomorrow, send him a text and say, hey, you missed out. This is really cool. I hope you're at the next one, because that's going to compel him to be there.
Well, I can do one up. So I can stop by Robert's shop, but again, like, I don't know why the heck everyone likes me. I really don't. Carm has another podcast with me on Thursday that's going live, which I'm sure it got sent out by Rocky this evening to be on it. It's, it's paving the ways. I promote ASCCA every time I'm on any podcast or whatever, because it is big doings. I really do view the being a part of this industry and being a part of ASCCA is awesome. So even then, I reach out to everyone that I can, but everyone I feel is like me when I was 19. Why the heck would I want to be with you? So promoting everything is key. And that's what I keep trying to do. So yes, I will reach out to Robert and his daughter, which I freaking love her. That little Spitfire, I tell you, she'll light a fire under him.
And introduce her to Valerie, because she's going to get some fire from Valerie. And yeah. You know what I'm talking
Thomas,
about. You're smiling, Thomas.
I see it. Thomas, you sent me your info, so I will reach out to Valerie too, because she needs to be a part of a lot of stuff. I've already introduced her to a lot of females that I've made along the way to be a part of stuff. The problem is Robert will not pay for it. So I'm working really hard to get these people to do like pro bono stuff for her, because she is 100% worth it. She's going to be awesome.
There she is.
If I can send her to Valerie's way, that would be awesome.
Joseph,
Thank
you
you,
wanted
Valerie.
a little bit more involvement with that one in Thousand Oaks. That was all girl power.
Yeah.
You got Valerie girl power. You got Colleen girl power.
Whatever Beyonce said, like single ladies, haha.
Oh,
Yeah,
married ladies that own businesses.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up with Mark Miller and let him know that we've got a couple of lady shop owners that would be glad to help his daughters get up to speed as ladies, as women.
We need more women in this industry. Not offense to guys, but we make a difference. Whether it's our TLC or our badass bitch mentality, like we do make a difference, and we're here and we're all willing to help. So any women that you guys have that want to get into this, send them either my way, or I know I'm going to speak on Thomas's behalf. Valerie will be willing to do it because I like her. So
And
Colleen?
yes, to go
Colleen,
with what Colleen said too. It's true, taking with, especially the technicians, it's the mama bear approach. Like,
yes,
taking
ma'am.
the mama bear approach with them, and they love that because I don't have to raise my voice at them. I just basically tell them I'm disappointed in you, and that just gets them, and it just lights the fire up their booty. But yeah,
Child mentality, I love it.
Colleen, you need to talk to 3 OG women. You need to talk to Tracy Renee from Jean's Auto Repair. You need to
I talk to Tracy almost every day.
Okay, you need to talk to Mary Kemnitz, and you need to talk to Nikki Ayers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mary actually, when I worked in the Bay Area, Mary was a really good strong point for me. So I do actually talk to all of those women.
Okay, good.
Now pass that along to all the other women in our chapter. And that's the kind of thing that we need to bring if you want to make a big difference, because you're right. Glenn, we paved the way in chapter 5, and the state board is watching what we're doing because they have a great idea. They have things written down and implemented, but honestly, we're the guinea pigs. We're out there doing it. We're the largest chapter. We have the biggest activity, and that's because we're in the metropolitan city. We have people like Gary. Gary, your wife's involved in your business and helps you out as well, right?
Yes.
Bring that to the table.
Yes.
Tammy from Johnny's Auto is another one that Tammy does a lot for that business, and Byron takes a big hold in the shop. So these are members in our chapter that we don't recognize.
Oh, well, Tammy's daughter is like really coming up. She's one that everyone needs. Yeah, Shauna is, and I love Shauna. She is my biggest supporter. That's probably why I'm naming her. But Shauna is kick ass. It's a lot of, women give a lot of TLC where you guys as techs don't, because you're very black and white. And I'm sorry, this industry is going a lot into the gray area, and we need to get into the gray area. So bringing women into it. And this is not about like women empowerment and all of that, like whatever the heck Beyonce said, but it's really how everything is moving towards in the industry. It's moving towards people that can give the TLC touch, and you guys can do it too, but we do it better.
They say save the best for last.
Sorry, Colleen. Tracy Renee over the years has said more than once that, hey, Glenn, your inner bitch is coming out right now. So
one more thing I wanted
to
mention.
Tracy would say that. Tracy
yes,
would say that.
Yeah, that's Glenda, my evil twin sister that shows up every once in a while.
One more thing I wanted to mention. I don't know what you guys think about this. How about, like Thomas said, and about training employees, but instead of training technical training, actually maybe once every 3-4 months, having some of the shop owners having maybe 30-40 employees, train them on how to become 100% efficient and what shop owners expect from them, maybe twice a year, by getting them more involved when they talk to their colleagues that don't work with the ASCCA shop owners. The other employees might push the shop owners to become ASCCA members so they can get the program also. By training the employees, they become better employees. And not only that, the shops that are not involved, since we have that training for the employees, because that's the biggest problem in our industry, is employees. In my shop, most of my guys have been with me for 15, 20 years. So when I tell them something, they kind of think that, oh my God, nowhere else is like that except with him, because they don't know what it's like outside. So it's like I'm constantly fighting that, hey, this is how I want it. Because they think I'm the only Hitler that's around, say, hey, wait a minute, this is how it's got to run. You know, so if we educate them, it would make me feel better that, hey, they can hear it from Tim, Glenn, or Thomas, or Gene, or Greg. Hey, wait a minute, their shop is run that way too. This is how it is. And then they get on board, and then other shops hear that. They want their employees trained. So then they have to sign up to get their employees trained by us, how to become efficient and how to become a good employee. Because none of the schools teach this. None of the schools teach this. For example, I'm a technician, I'm a service writer, and I'm a shop owner. Often I walk into my shop 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. One of my employees will pull me over and say, hey, I have a question about this car. And the first thing I say, how old is the patient? And they say, I don't know, I think it's got 80,000 miles on it. No. Before you should have touched that car, you should know how many miles that car has on it. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. When you get ready to tell me if it's a female or a male, or how many miles it's got on it, how old is the patient, I don't want to talk to you. So over and over again, I do this. They think I'm an ass, but this is how I want to run my business. Again, but them hearing it from Thomas, his shop is that way. Tim's shop is that way. Tim comes up with a different point that all of a sudden my employees learn from, or I start implementing. So the employees become better. And then the shop owners outside of here, Tim's shop is running so well because his employees get trained for free every 6 months. They say, wow, shit, I want to be part of that group. I want to train my employees.
Sounds great. I think that's another feature that we could feature/benefit that we
and
could
again,
implement.
nothing technical. It has to be business oriented. What we expect from our employees in daily, activity in the shop, how to become 100% efficient.
I added that to the wild ass idea list down here.
Well, Joseph, you got a lot of good ideas here tonight. I think you probably need some time to compile them and submit them to the board of directors so that they can start looking at developing an action plan with several of these ideas, because there's been a lot of good stuff that's been thrown against the whiteboard tonight.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be me to boil it down and pick a few. It's going to be, this group to decide. And I'll send out information. I'll post this video on our web channel, on our YouTube channel. And, yeah, we need to, it's not just going to be me. We need to compile a list. We need to think about it and maybe pick 3 things that we've talked about tonight and say, let's start with this, or maybe 3 different areas. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't finished, but we have to stop.
Tim, I have a question for you since you're in that area. I used to go up down Walnut, and I think Joseph knows some of the shops too. For example, Paris at the Audi place. Then you got Jack at Scientific. What is it with these guys that they listen, but they just don't want to have anything to do with it?
Hey, Jack at Scientific. Jack at Scientific was in an article in a trade magazine a while back, and he was described as being a member of ASCCA, which he isn't, but he used to be. I went and talked to him about it, and he got really upset at me.
Yeah, he almost kicked me out of his shop one day because it was like my 3rd time showing up there, and I kind of felt like, you know, he probably thinks that I don't know, you know, I didn't speak English or something, you know. So I don't see why they don't see value or they don't want to get involved. And then there's another shop that's called Certified Automotive. I think it's on Walnut also.
Yeah, he's a member.
Is he a member? The 2 brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I think so. I think they were members, but they just don't come to the meetings anymore.
That's because we're not driving home the point anymore. That's because they don't have an accountability partner in our chapter. And accountability partner in our chapter calls and says, hey, Glenn, that was really awesome. I enjoyed your part. Or, hey, Glenn, I missed you at the last meeting. Javier, thanks for your input. The people that you saw at the last meeting that are not at this meeting, send them a text if you have their number. If you don't have their number, call their shop and say, hey, I really appreciated the input you had last time. Maybe at the next meeting, we talked about you, we missed you there. That'll get them to be involved. Because
You know
one of
what?
the things,
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
one of the things that has worked is I cannot tell you how many times I've called Abraham from Pasadena Auto Repair and said, dude, you could have would have made $400 just showing up and not saying a word. And
Okay, listen.
that's it. That's
All
the
right, guys.
involvement. I got to tap out.
I'm about to hit the mute all button because we really have to stop.
All right. Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good talk tonight.
Good night.
Take care.
We'll
Take care.
put a big comma here and we'll
Thank you,
carry
everyone.
on later. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.